I'll have to keep repeating it that how many tough periods there were.
That is why we are calling it the daughter India.
My father was a very straight up man, and he always, what he told the authorities that you punish him for what he's done. If he has taken a weapon, you punish him for that. Under Arms Act, nothing. But don't call him a terrorist. Or if we had to meet him, we had to meet him in those, through the jali, sit outside, couldn't even see his face because the jali was to be so.
How do you see his acting journey progress, and in what space do you think his work is right now?
My brother, I find him a very spontaneous actor, and you can make out if he enjoys doing a movie, he'll do it. He'll do it like this. It'll be fantastic.
Are we seeing Munna Bhai coming back to this big screen?
Hope there is another Munna Bhai. I just wish. I would love to see him in another Munna Bhai.
Mr. Modi's leadership, and a lot of experts says that he's already set the country's name on the global map.
That definitely he has put the India on the map, but I as a citizen of this country would like to hear more from him about India. For me, being free is very important. And his next venture was my brother.
Yeah, and then वो वक्त बदला, things started moving on. फिर अब अक्सर ऐसा होता है ना कि even the God choose the strongest people to
He used to always say that.
Yeah, to face the battle.
Face the battle.
फिर एक ऐसा time आया, the actor, the Sanjay Dutt, the brother, उनकी life में turmoil
हुई
के एक लिया, और वो कैसा period था दीदी? और in fact I think वो ज़्यादा tough होगा क्योंकि now you've seen your brother who's a star and is going through such phase of life, turmoil है, और वो समय उस चीज़ों से निकलने का कैसा आपको लगा, मौका कैसे मिला?
So I think उस समय जो मैंने मेरे पिताजी को देखा, that how broken he was, I don't think I saw that even with my mom. Because, for him it became like, how could this happen? Or did it happen because of me? Is it because of my politics? Is it because of what? He in many ways started blaming himself. And so that period was, that again, very tough. I'll have to keep repeating it that how many tough periods there were.
That is why we are calling it the daughter India. It's not been an easy ride.
It hasn't been an easy ride, yeah. And, and so when that whole episode happened, with my brother being in jail, his incarceration, my father was a very straight up man, and he always, what he told the authorities that you punish him for what he's done. If he has taken a weapon, you punish him for that. Under Arms Act, nothing. But don't call him a terrorist. Don't call this family a terrorist.
Yeah.
Correct? And I think his fight was only that. His fight was, and I think his hurt was only that. Because all his life, he has only worked for the country, his giving back to the country. It could be my mom or him.
Yeah.
Right from the time of partition, when he came here, educated himself, when he became a big star, the first thing he wanted to do was to do something for the country. And that's when the Ajanta Arts troupe started, when he went to Jawaharlal Nehru saying, I want to do something for the soldiers, for the people in the army. And he said, they are right now struggling. Why don't you at least go and entertain them, make them feel that the people of the country love them. And that's when the Ajanta troupe started, and they used to go into right in the front
and perform
and take stars.
Many big actors were a part.
Kishore Kumar ji, Lata ji, all used to go. just to perform for our soldiers and give them that strength, the motivation. So he's always done things. I mean, our Padyatra ho gayi, to Punjab. He always kind of worked for peace and harmony in the country. And then for, to say that you and your family are terrorist or anti-national, not even terrorist, but anti-national, was, I think, the greatest and the most painful thing for him. And he only fought for that. And he resigned, I remember, from, he's saying my son is in prison and this and that. He resigned from his post as a member of parliament. And day and night, he only worked to see and with the lawyers or going and sitting outside the jail and things like that. And that is the first time my father was such a larger than life man, correct? And that was the first time I used to just see him. Athroad jail tha, वहाँ एक छोटा सा entrance था office में. He used to sit there, just wait for my brother to come from Thane because the court was in Athroad jail. And they used to bring him from Thana and and he used to just wait there for hours together. Just to have a glimpse of him when he used to come to, or me and my sister had never even gone to a police station ever in our lives, but we used to be taking his tiffin to the jail, or if we had to meet him, we had to meet him in those, through the jali, sit outside, couldn't even see his face because the jali was to be so. So we've gone through that as well. So when you say that star kids and you're used to some, that all gets kind of washed away. And I think what you learn and what my father, we've learned from him was that never let success
reach your
head. Don't go so high up that when you fall, you'll fall harder. Correct? When as high you go, the fall is even harder. So be neutral, enjoy your success, accept your failures. Don't let either of them affect you.
And you also had a very beautiful marriage. And how has marriage been in your life? और कितना important है एक partner का life में होना?
So I had a very late marriage actually, and so there was a time also when Papa fell very ill, and there was he got paralyzed from waist below.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think many people know that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've had the most adventurous life with my father, right from the time of the Padyatra where we walked 78 days. Then we walked from Nagasaki to Hiroshima. One fine day he started getting pain much later on his back and things like that, and took him for an MRI. As soon as he came out from an MRI, he couldn't move his legs, and the doctor came and gave him a lot of steroids and all, and they arrested his paralysis. He had just got paralyzed and up to here, and at that time I remember the doctor saying, I don't think he'll be able to walk again.
Oh my God.
That was another, crazy thing, and admitted him in hospital. He was in hospital for nearly 5 months in the ICU. But he told the doctor, I will refuse to leave the hospital on a wheelchair. I will walk out. He was still with a stick.
Yeah.
And I think you all must have seen him, walking with a stick. That was the time when he came out of this.
And he did this movie also.
And he did the movie with, And I used to I said, Dad, I can't believe what you've, and he was so stubborn. I mean, nothing could move.
I think, देखो ये अंश आप सब में है, with you, with Sanju sir.
Yeah.
जिस तरह वो बाहर निकला है, that is another.
He is also very strong-willed, my brother. Very. अगर वो एक बार अपना मन बना लेते हैं, तो there is nothing that can move him. So I think that is something which was quite amazing. And so for me, I'd never thought of marriage. My father constantly wanted, you have to get married, you have to get married. And I used to tell my dad, I just don't want to get married for the heck of it. I have to find the right person. So please leave me be, And he was a very forward-thinking person. He never kind of pressurized me in any way and things like that. And then finally I met my husband. And so our life has also been really funny, because when we got married, everything was going so beautiful. We moved into our home, this, that, the other, and it was like a real small marriage. None of us wanted to have one of those big shadis. So छोटी सी शादी थी हमारे living room में. Sign wine हो गया. We had a little party. Papa did the kanyadan, and that's about it. So both my husband and me had so many different plans in our life. That we are going to do this. How every young couple plans that we are going to do this, we're going to do this. But our entire life kind of took a 360-degree turn. Because after my father passing away, the whole thing again started. Now who's going to, take his place? Unfortunately, politics is like that. अभी उनको जैसे 2 दिन भी नहीं हुए थे. We had not even had a chance to grieve, and people started asking these questions to us. That who? Then सबकी आँख मेरे ऊपर आ गई कि प्रिया लड़ेगी election. And I'm like, what do you mean Priya ladegi election? I am not ready for this. How can I fight an election? My husband was always by my side, always. And lekin our life became so hectic that we were hardly spending time with each other except in, going here, wahan padyatra karna hai, ye karna hai, and he was planning the whole thing. He was taking care of the back end. And I won the election.
Yeah,
and,
I remember.
With a big margin, मैं पार्लियामेंट पहुंची. वो भी बहुत मेरे लिए सब चीज़ नया था. मैं अपने बच्चों को लेकर दिल्ली पहुंची. Was staying there with him. So my life was like a constant back and forth.
And he was a constant support.
जैसे अगर मैं दिल्ली जा रही थी, so जब तक मेरा बेटा स्कूल नहीं जा रहा था, I was taking him to Delhi. But the moment play school शुरू हुआ, I couldn't take him. So Owen used to always be there, and my husband.
And then how has been your relationship with Sumer, Siddharth, your
Great.
sons?
Great.
उनका interest कहाँ जा रहा है?
हाँ, तो मेरे बच्चे, like I told you कि हम लोग की जिंदगी तो ऐसी रही कि I was snatching every moment to be with them. हमेशा यहाँ से भागो, वहाँ से भागो, ये करो. और मैं हमेशा सोचती थी कि जब मेरे पिताजी पॉलिटिक्स में रहे, वो भी बहुत फ्री थे अपने थॉट में. वो जो करना चाहते थे वो हमेशा उन्होंने किया. उन्होंने कभी उनकी ज़िंदगी में हमारा बर्थडे मिस नहीं किया. एक्टर भी जब थे, पॉलिटिशियन भी जब थे, कोई स्कूल फंक्शन नहीं मिस किया. तो मैं हमेशा सोचती थी उन्होंने कैसे किया ये. How did he manage that? But he did. I remember एक बार I had gone for a small surgery and वो मिनिस्टर थे तब. तो उनका फ़ोन आया था. I said, पापा बहुत स्मॉल मॉर्निंग इवनिंग आई एम बैक होम. अच्छा ठीक है. आई एम इन द हॉस्पिटल. सडनली हॉस्पिटल में अरे somebody's come. कोई दत्साब आया. He took a flight from Delhi. I don't know कैसे उनको समय मिला. एक अपना ब्रीफ केस लेके वो हॉस्पिटल पहुंच गए. And I said, you didn't need to come. He said, how can I not come when my daughter is in hospital?
क्या बात.
So that was his commitment to his family, believe me. And I think so for me, I had to live up to that. And so I always try to prioritize. And my relationship with my boys, I think, is fantastic. हम लोग we enjoy ourselves so much when we are together. वो अभी boarding में है. लॉकडाउन में मैंने उनको बोर्डिंग में भेजा क्योंकि they बहुत sports oriented है.
But the world is changing, Didi. Marriages, as they say, are becoming a little unhealthy.
Yeah.
Me time has taken over my life, my space. So, आपको जो ये बदलाव आज तक जो दिख रहा है जीवन में, what do you have to say? ये किस space में आ गए हैं?
See, I think tolerance थोड़ा सा कम
Zero,
हो गया है.
जी.
Yeah, it's actually zero tolerance now. But I think for everything.
But is it a good word, tolerance, if we talk about it?
Yeah, you're right. Why should you have to tolerate rubbish? Yeah. Correct? But I feel वो हर छोटी छोटी चीज के लिए ना things blow up into very big things. So, and I feel marriage will change, and it has changed, and it will evolve into something better. Because आज क्या हो गया है कि हर women have come unto themselves. They are working women. They're doing so much more now than they used to do before. So I think there must, for a good marriage to work, there must be acceptance. And बहुत बार क्या होता है ना, and I've seen that a lot, that today there is so much pressure even on women that the first question they'll ask you, what do you do? Now, if I'm just a homemaker, I'm a homemaker and I must be proud of it. That's my choice. Acha, you're a housewife. So every woman feels on guard that अरे मैं कुछ नहीं कर रही हूँ. I should be doing this. Not every woman can be a CEO. Not every woman can become a businesswoman. Not every woman. Everyone has their own talent, right? Everyone has their own something special in them. And a job of a mother is never over. आज भी मुझे phone आएंगे कि mom, I've got this, now what should I do? Mom, I have to do this, so what should I do? So this is a constant.
Let's talk about, the actor, the Sanjay Dutt, the son of, two legendary actors. How do you see his acting journey progress, and in what space do you think his work is right now?
So I think Bhaiya also kind of really created his own niche. He too came out of the shadows and made his own stand in the film industry, which is, I think, a very big thing for any actor to do, coming from a family of, actors. And so my brother, I find him a very spontaneous actor, and you can make out if he enjoys doing a movie, he'll do it. He'll do it like this. It'll be fantastic. If he doesn't enjoy doing a movie, it'll be the worst movie ever. So, so he always tells me, and I think we are the biggest critics. Me and my sister. I will tell him it was the worst movie I've seen. Or you were fabulous in the movie.
I think Shamshera, I even wrote that on the social media. I think he's one of his, finest work.
He's done really well.
Yeah,
he was really. So if he enjoys his role and if he enjoys his character or enjoys while making the film, you can see it on screen. It's like a Munna Bhai.
Yeah.
He was just so comfortable in that role. He was just, and I think he does comedy really well. Most of his movies where he's done comedy, I've loved. So I think he's a great actor. He's very spontaneous, and many people tell me he's very much like my mom. He's not a method actor where he has to go into that character and sit in that scene for like few days before he starts acting and all. He's like a switch on, switch off. If he has to play a dark character, he'll go play his role, say his lines, and he's back to square one. So it's
and what kind of a roles do you wish that you were looking forward from him in future he should be doing, and you'd be really happy to see him doing that?
I think he's not he does very varied kind of roles. You know, he's not stuck with one character. I think he's done a lot of negative roles.
Yeah.
He enjoys doing that because he likes that look and all that stuff.
This
he
year
loves all that.
we have two films, KGF 2 and Shamshera.
Yeah.
Where two different shades of his.
Two different shades, yes. Agnipath was another thing. So he loves doing those, crazy characters and all. But I think he is really great with comedies. I would love to
Are we seeing Munna Bhai coming back to this big screen?
I don't know. I hope there is another Munna Bhai. I just wish. I would love to see him in another Munna Bhai.
And now the Nargis Dutt Foundation, you're taking it, like your own baby. एक
course.
बच्चे की तरह आप इसे सींच रहे हो.
बिल्कुल.
कहाँ तक इसकी प्रोग्रेस हो चुकी है दीदी?
तो अभी हम हेल्थ और एजुकेशन में कर रहे हैं. अगेन रिदम, आई थिंक द बिगेस्ट ड्रॉबैक फॉर मी इज के हम लोग का जो वो होता है ना, मार्केटिंग, टॉकिंग अबाउट इट, पब्लिसाइजिंग इट, वो नहीं होता है मेरे से. that becomes a bit of a challenge for me. But when I look at the amount of work that have gone in, we are 40 years old now.
Wow.
And in these 40 years, we've equipped nearly 100 rural hospitals with cancer care equipment. And that is cancer treatment and cancer detection equipment. जहाँ पहले कुछ नहीं था. Tata Memorial ka ICU is named after my mother because Nargis Dutt Foundation had funded part of the ICU in Tata Memorial Hospital when it didn't have an ICU. Now my vision is to start Nargis Dutt chapters all over India, wherever people who have the same passion to work for these causes can set up a Nargis Dutt chapter in their state, in their district.
तो दीदी, करंट स्टेट ऑफ पॉलिटिक्स जो हमारे देश में चल रही है, हाउ डू यू सी इट? एंड 2024 इज अराउंड द कॉर्नर, द नेक्स्ट बिग इलेक्शंस. डू यू सी इंडिया प्रोग्रेसिंग टुवर्ड्स इट्स लॉन्ग टारगेट of becoming the world power?
India is definitely progressing, no doubt about it. But when you see it from internally, there is so much to be done. When you look at, the rise in prices, you look at the unemployment. Of course, when you see what has happened the last few years because of COVID, everything has kind of fallen back. Everything has, really stalled all over the world, not only India. India is still better than what's happening in many, many countries today. But I feel with the right kind of approach and the right kind of way forward, where we give more importance to what is important than things that are not important, I think is the way forward for India.
Okay. And what do you have to talk about, our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi's leadership, and a lot of experts says that he's already set the country's name on the global map.
I think Mr. Narendra Modi ji is a great speaker. He is a very tall personality, and I think I just feel that definitely he has put India on the map, but I as a citizen of this country would like to hear more from him about India.
Okay.
I would love that as a citizen, where he can speak about issues about India. I remember seeing one speech of his when he had just become Prime Minister in New York.
Yeah.
And I had listened to that speech and I was really impressed because he spoke, I think, from his heart at that time.
और मैं ये कर्ज चुकाऊंगा, आपके सपनों का भारत बना करके कर्ज चुकाऊंगा.
He was very emotional on that.
He spoke about small issues. He spoke about problems of the common man. He spoke about problems affecting women, affecting the youth, affecting things which otherwise nobody really talks about, right? You might talk of larger than life issues. You might talk about you know, the GDP of this country, you can talk about economics of this country. And I was impressed because I said, you know, this is this man who actually realizes what these issues are and what exists in this country. But today I don't see that.
So Didi, if I want to ask you, what is left to conquer now? You've seen a lot of things. बहुत चीजें लाइफ में अचीव की हैं, लूज भी की हैं.
Of course.
But what is left to conquer?
I think it's they say you have many miles to go before you sleep. So I'm a kind of person, I don't think I can never retire. Okay, though I have that whole dream that one day I'll retire and I'll do this and I'll do. I know मुझसे नहीं होगा. So I'll have to keep on doing something. And see, for me right now is to really, I want to make Nargis Dutt Foundation an independent foundation. I don't want to put that load on my family, my children, my thing कि अरे मेरे बाद ये आप लोगों को handle करना है, वो सब मैं नहीं सोचती हूँ. I think that's too much more for me to ask. But I would want it to become an independent foundation which would continue.
That we know, from being a very young girl who lost her mother, then to someone who got into politics, and being a great mother now, to being a great sister, amidst the losses and success of your life, what has been your rhythm of life?
So for me now, when you say great sister, great mother, great this thing, I don't believe in that. I think every sister is great, every mother is great, and every sister, mother, or whoever is plays that role will do exactly that for their family, what my role has been for my family. So my rhythm of life is exactly that. And there was a quote by Mother Teresa, and I had it written and I forget it, and it basically said that, don't let negativity affect you. It's like, don't let success affect you, don't let failure affect you. Just continue doing your work, and just follow your path with honesty. And I think that has always been what I believe in, and I think that's what's kept me grounded. Because बहुत लोग, I've seen the best also. It's not that I haven't. I've had a lot of media attention on me when I joined politics, when I entered parliament. I remember I'd worn pants and shirt to parliament. That became an issue. And the first parliamentarian who wore pant and shirt, in parliament. And so I've had a lot of media attention. I've had a lot of positive attention coming to my way. I've seen a lot of failures as well, I must say. But I've not let it affect me. Because for me, that is the rhythm of life. And, and you have to accept that.
And what, we've accepted is, this amazing time that एक आपने यहाँ पर आकर ना एक aura बना दिया. हाँ. और हमने, we're almost halfway on our show. We've shot 15 episodes. And जब आप बातें बोल रहे थे, so I was transported into another world, and thank you so much for, giving me this time. आपका स्टोरी नहीं, आपकी जो भी लाइफ की बातें, वो इतना मोटिवेट किया, मुझे किया, जो हमारे व्यूअर्स उनको ज़रूर उन तक भी पहुँचेगी तो उनको भी बहुत मोटिवेशन मिलेगा. एंड ये कॉन्वर्सेशन मेरी लाइफ की बहुत बेस्ट रहेगी और मैं हमेशा याद रखूँगा. एंड आपको मज़ा आया हमारे साथ?
बहुत मज़ा आया. आई थिंक कभी-कभी you trigger so many memories, na? So you can just go on and I can keep talking and keep talking once those memories start working in my head.
So that's what our show is all about,
Correct.
Talking about journeys.
Yes.
So
yes.
Anything do you want to say to your audience about how you like the show?
I love
कैसा
the
लगा
show.
आपको यहाँ पे हमारे साथ?
बहुत अच्छा लगा यहाँ आकर, and I think रिदम आपसे बात करने से ऐसा लगा कि we are just having a wonderful conversation. Interview जैसे नहीं लगा. So I think I was so comfortable talking about so many personal things. So thank you, it was wonderful.
Thank you very much. और तो हमारे व्यूवर्स को मैं बस यही कहना चाहूँगा कि द डॉटर इंडिया जो हमारी प्रिया दत्त हैं, जिनका एक अलग ही स्टाइल ऑफ वर्क रहा है, जिन्होंने बहुत पेन देखा अपनी लाइफ में, जैसा उन्होंने बताया, मगर उसको दिमाग में नहीं रखा, उससे आगे बढ़ी, फैमिली कोर वैल्यूज़ को भी निभाती रही, अपना काम भी करती रहीं और एट एंड ऑफ द डे अपनी ज़िंदगी में एक एक दिन को आगे बढ़ाया, और ये हम सबको ध्यान रखने की ज़रूरत है। तो फिलहाल इस कॉन्वर्सेशन में इतना ही। मिलते हैं अगले एपिसोड में एक नए फनकार के साथ, लेकर आएंगे उनकी एक नई कहानी। और हमारे इस चैनल YMF को आप ज़रूर सब्सक्राइब करिएगा और इस शो को देखते रहिएगा। था और आप लेकर आए एक अलग स्टाइल ऑफ म्यूजिक, तो कहीं आपको ऐसा लगा कि आप ये जो क्रिएट करना चाह रहे हो ये जॉनरा बनेगा या फ्लॉप हो जाएगा?
आई वॉज मोर इनटू इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स, तो मेरे गानों में, यानी अगर आप त्रिदेव बोलो या नौरा बोलो, दिस इज प्लस एट द सेम टाइम हु द डायरेक्टर इज, उसको क्या पसंद है वो भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है आज के टाइम।